Hey, what's up, everyone? We're back with another BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Dustin, the disciple Pague. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Look at this beautiful weather. Beautiful day. I'm having a great time.
So it's kind of funny because I'm out here in Wisconsin. I know you're in Pennsylvania. It was ridiculously windy yesterday, but it looks like it's all blown over to your way now. So
Oh yeah, wind can really ruin a day. Like
yeah.
I was gonna go golfing today, and that was kind of nixed with this wind. So
Okay, so will this be your first time facing an opponent who is a reptile?
yes, this will be my first reptile opponent, and I'm looking forward to it.
Are you a snake person? There's a lot of people that aren't snake people. So like, is this going to affect you?
You know what? I'm not a huge fan of snakes, but I will fight one. I will definitely fight a snake to defend myself.
He's got such a cool name. Like, you almost want to root for him because anybody whose name is literally Trinidad Snake, that's a pretty cool guy. But I mean, the Peg's a cool name, but Snake's a little cooler, I think. You know?
Yeah, Snake's way more badass than Peg. I mean, Peg, like a peg leg. I don't know. There's nothing cool about Peg. But
Okay.
yes, Snake's definitely a cool name. I respect him for that.
Yeah. Has anything changed? I mean, you're the headliner for this card. Like, does that change anything with you, or like you same old?
Yeah, I mean, the only negative effect it could have is, you fight later.
Sure.
You're just waiting around, so the anticipation, the anxiety just kind of lasts a little longer. I'm always a nervous wreck until the bell rings. Like the day of the fight, I'm just so much things going through my head. I try to calm down and keep relaxed, but it's hard to not be anxious. You just run things in your head constantly the day of a fight, and it's amazing how instantly that goes away the moment the bell rings. And it's done that my entire fight career. I've been fighting 18 years. I'm a nervous mess until the bell rings, and then it's go time. It's like a switch. But yeah, that's the only thing with the main event. I just got to wait a little bit longer. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm honored to be the main event of a card for BKFC, so I'm pretty pumped.
This Omaha card is shaping up to be like probably the biggest card of the first quarter. I mean, Knucklemania is going to be big, but like the amount of big names that are on this Omaha card, and then to see you headlining, like it is literally going to be like one of the bigger cards of the year. And then it's great. Have you guys heard? Is this like a title eliminator fight, or they told anything about that? Or
That's what I've heard, and I messaged Trinidad Snake. Excuse me, let's call him Snake. That's way cool. I messaged Snake. I was like, hey, it was a little bit before we got the contract, but I got the word that we'd be fighting each other.
Yeah.
A couple weeks before we got the contract. So I was like, hey, did you get anything yet? Just trying to like prepare myself. And then even when we got the contract, we weren't sure if we were main event. So we were just kind of messaging back and forth like, hey, what have you heard? But I mentioned to him, I was like, hey, word on the street and what they're telling me is this is the title contention fight, so winner gets the shot. So that's what I'm hearing. Nothing official, but usually Dave Feldman's a man of his word. So if he says it, it's going to happen. So hopefully that comes to fruition, and I get a title shot after I beat Snake.
So right now, it seems like 165 could be the most stacked division in the BKFC. Have you had any thoughts about going up or down a weight to get a title shot sooner if this doesn't play out and you get a title shot?
I could. I mean, if that's a route I have to take to get a title shot, I don't mind doing it.
Sure.
I dropped a ton of weight in the UFC to get to that platform, and that was exhausting. I fought at 135, and I walked around lean 165, so that was a tough cut for me at that part of my life. But I'll do it. I'll do whatever I got to do to be the top. So we'll see. I'm hoping I don't have to, but it's definitely something I won't pass up.
Okay, so we got all the important stuff, the fight stuff out of the way. Now we got to get into the good stuff. So your buddy John would like you to explain the origin story of is it Bang Barn Boys?
The Bang Barn Boys. Man, how does people not know about the Bang Barn Boys? My wife's spying on me. She's making me nervous. Come on.
I had messaged your wife, but she doesn't accept questions from people who like she doesn't follow. So it got kicked back to me. But I was gonna like try to get some information from her. But
come on out, babe. Can I bring her in here?
Yeah, of course.
She said, "Oh, do I have to be on video? You look great, babe." She's in her comfy. She doesn't want to come out. What
Okay, it's
was
all
your
good.
question going to be for Jackie?
Well, I was just gonna see if she had a story that she could tell me. Like, so, like, I reach out to like people who know you guys to get either a feel good story that you guys don't like. There's a lot of good stuff that you guys do that you don't want people to know about, or you like to keep private. And either that or something hilarious about you.
She'll ponder that. I'll get to your
Yeah,
question. Yeah, think about something either funny, babe, or a cool story.
yeah.
All right, babe, you're gonna have to get the dog off the deck and the kiddos in the yard. It's gonna get wild up here. All right, to answer your story about the Bang Barn Boys. So, I mean, the Bang Barn Boys. It's a legendary thing.
Okay,
The world's gonna know about the Bang Barn Boys. We're kind of like the Peaky Blinders of 2024.
okay.
You don't want to mess with the Bang Barn Boys,
No,
okay? It's just me and my training buddies, good friends. So we train at what we call the Bang Barn. It's a pole barn, just outfitted with mats, bags, everything you need to throw down, to bang. And I don't know the specific date that we discovered the name Bang Barn. It kind of happened accidentally and then just stuck around.
okay.
They were like, hey, we'll always be like, hey, what time we train at the barn today? And then it just became like, hey, when we banging at the barn? And then, hey, when we go into the Bang Barn, So then, with a few videos of training and everything, we're like, yeah, we're the Bang Barn Boys. And it just stuck. So it's catchy. So yeah, we formed this alliance of tough dudes that like to punch each other in the face. And you don't want to mess with the Bang Barn Boys. Like, word in Cumberland County is everybody knows. Cops know, civilians know, the world in this town knows. Do not mess with the Bang Barn Boys because we're bad people. You don't want to mess with us. So that's the story of the Bang Barn Boys. It just kind of developed. Me and my boys.
Is there anybody else that you train with that is going to be in the BKFC, or like who do you train with? Do you want to give a shout out to those guys?
Yeah, John the Meat Cayley, the one you asked about.
Sure.
We're trying to get him in. He's had fights lined up with BKFC. I think his opponents are a little afraid of the size of the man. We call him the Meat for the reason.
The Bang Barn.
Yeah. One, they probably heard that he's one of the Bang Barn Boys, so they're not signing contract. Or they found out that he's 6'7", 290 pounds.
Wow.
He's a massive man. He has a lot of fight experience as far as training. Hasn't competed often, so it's tough to, get him a fight. But also, it's surprising that he hasn't because there's not much to find on him. His opponents, shouldn't be afraid of watching previous fights or whatever.
Sure.
He's a great fighter. I think he's going to get in soon. So keep an eye out for John the Meat Cayley.
Okay. So true or false, you are undefeated in Golden Tee.
That is true. And whatever John or whoever you contacted, if they say anything other than that, it's a lie. I am a professional Golden Tee player and I am undefeated. I've never been beaten.
Okay, so I've heard from several of your other buddies that you are undefeated in everything you do. Like you've never lost at anything you've ever done.
Anything I've ever done, I've never lost. That is a true statement. And like if you look at my MMA record, that's all lies. I've never lost. If you see any video of me losing a fight, that wasn't me. Right, babe? I have never lost at anything.
Okay, so your buddy Jordan said when he first met you that you have a very unique way that you like to light bottle rockets off. Do you want to explain that?
All right, so if you know me, I do not turn down dares, okay? Was that a 4th of July party? Okay. So, yes, we had a newborn child.
Mm-hmm.
We were at this 4th of July party. Sun went down. We're all just hanging out, fire going. And somebody's like, you should light a bottle rocket out of your ass. And they're like, I'm like, you think I won't? I'm like, give me a bottle rocket. So we lodge this thing in my butt crack.
Yeah.
The stem of the bottle rocket. And it's a nerve-wracking thing to have
Yeah.
a, the flame that comes out of the bottom of a bottle rocket is very intimidating, especially when it's by your butthole. So I think the nervousness caused me to clench my cheeks a little too tight,
Okay.
which caused the stem to be lodged in my butt crack as the fire of hell
Yeah.
was scorching my ass crack.
Yeah.
So I'm in the all fours as they light this. It goes off, flame in my crack, and I'm like, oh, and it's just torching me. So I go to stand up, which releases the bottle rocket. It soars to the top of my buddy's house. It skims off the shingles and explodes just inches above his roof.
Okay.
Could have started a fire on his house. So I left there with third-degree burns on my butt crack, which I still have the scars, all because somebody didn't think I would light a bottle rocket out of my butt crack.
I've seen the videos of that, and it usually ends up bad. Like you usually see people with like bad burns. I was thinking you were gonna have a great story, like, oh yeah, I'm undefeated as a pro. It went fine, and it sounded like it didn't go fine.
Right. It never goes well. Like I've seen those same videos. I'm like, these guys just don't have the right technique. I've never lost it lighting a bottle rocket out of my ass, and I will show you how it's done. And it just doesn't work well.
Okay, Jordan wants to know about bringing your kids to the barn, and like what a good experience it is to be able to bring your children, and like what it means to you.
Oh, that's a love-hate thing. I
Okay.
love my children with all my heart. I'd do anything for them. I love spending time with them, even during training sessions. But when my kids are there and Jordan's kids are there, it's chaos. Children get stepped on, children get kicked, children get thrown against the padded wall. It is a mess. But, we love it. It's something that they enjoy. They love going to the bang barn. But yeah, it can be a little chaotic sometimes. But yeah, it's this part of my career. I have so much going on. And, my UFC days, I think I missed a lot of family events, either cutting weight or traveling. And I don't want to do that anymore.
Sure.
If taking my kids to the gym with me causes me to lose a fight because I'm not prepared enough, or I miss out on events, I don't care. The time with my children at this age, I'm never going to get back. So I don't mind bringing them along with me and banging at the bang barn with the kiddos.
Do you try to get your kids to your fights, or?
So not yet. They're still at an age where um, not so much our oldest. He understands fight. He
Sure.
understands that there's a chance that I get knocked out or injured. But we keep them. Usually, my wife travels with me, or either her parents or my parents will watch them while we're
Okay.
gone, and then we'll show them the fight afterwards.
Okay.
They love watching it, but it's always that chance like Daddy's going to get really hurt and knocked out, and we don't want to see it live, so we kind of save it for the next day viewing.
Okay, so I have a serious question for you. You are a law enforcement officer. Is there like, do you get recognized? You're like a famous fighter also, and you're a law enforcement. Does it make it easier for your job or harder for your job?
I think it's easier. I work in a decent town.
Okay.
Obviously, every town has its crazies, but I do get recognized quite often.
Okay.
More than I thought I would. There's a lot of fight fans in this area.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, even I'll ticket somebody and they'll be like, hey, man, I watched you on The Ultimate Fighter and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, you should have said that before I wrote the ticket. Like, you might have saved yourself 170 some bucks. But, yeah, I get recognized, but everybody's respectful.
Sure.
And it might deter some altercations occasionally.
Right.
Because they know what I do and what I'm capable of. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing.
How long have you been a cop? Was it always something you wanted to do? Like, I know Jimmy is also a police officer, and he kind of stumbled into it because he was doing like training with the guys and volunteering, and then joined a position. Like, is it something you've always done, or?
It's something that I always thought I'd fall back on after fighting. I
Okay.
didn't think I'd be doing both at the same time. But I'm fortunate enough that my chief is a big fight fan. He
Okay.
actually comes to my fights, which is very rare
Yeah.
to be at a police department that, one, allows you to compete in bare knuckle boxing, but also supports you enough to fly him and his wife out to support you. So that's a huge blessing. But I've been in law enforcement for 8 years, combining with correctional
Okay.
in corrections and a sheriff, deputy sheriff here in Cumberland County.
So how do you? I mean, being a police officer very taxing. So how do you manage being a fighter and a father and a cop? Like, how do you have time for all that?
My my wife, she's my scheduling manager, my marketing manager. She is the glue that holds me together. No, seriously though, my wife, not because she's standing right here and looking at me, but she truly is, and I've heard this from so many fighters, so many coaches. I have the best wife in the world, especially in regard to fighting, because as you know, the fight world, a lot of women in relationships hate it.
Sure.
It's just taxing on a family, traveling and fighting and injuries and just the amount of time you have to put into it. But we got it down to a science. We've been doing this so long, and she's been with me the entire ride. It's just managing your time. I get up early. I train before work. I work 10-hour shifts. I come home, play with the kids, and they either come to the barn with me or I stick around till after dinner, get them situated with my wife, and then I go to the barn.
Okay.
So I do 2-a-days with 10-hour shifts, and we just make it work.
Okay.
I get little sleep, but it's all worth it.
All right, and then my last question that I talked to everybody. So everybody, including Joe Elmore, wanted to talk about your guys' friendship. And then Joe Elmore was saying that you guys both signed pictures of you guys punching each other in the face, and it went to your neighbor or one of your friends or something like that. Like, and you guys love a good practical joke, and that's why you guys became instant friends. And there was no bad blood. You guys like love each other, and it was just business.
Yeah, you know what? I don't understand a lot of guys. I mean, obviously, you have issues with certain opponents that, I don't know, you just don't like each other. There's certain people you just don't like, but
Sure.
It's very hard for me to dislike somebody. I love pretty much everyone I meet. I get along well with everyone, and to me, this is a sport. It's
Sure.
not me beating up somebody because I hate them. I think anger and like malice in a fight just you don't do well.
Sure.
You don't focus. You can't compete well. To me, it's a sport. It's just like playing soccer, basketball, football. You just want to win. You stay focused. I don't get mad at fights. People, they're like, man, how do you get punched in the face and not get angry? I'm like, no, I love it. You love something, you just do it. And when I met Joe, actually, originally when I met Joe, I was like, man, that guy's so arrogant. He's so annoying. Just seeing his stuff on social media. And then I met him in person, and we just clicked. We hung out. The first night I met him, we hung out all night. And then after our fight, we hung out all night. He's just a hilarious dude, very entertaining. And yeah, we became friends immediately. So even before the fight, we were friends. We were talking pretty much every day leading up to the fight. And that just shows you that it's same with Joe. He understands that it's a sport. Like, you put my brother across the ring, we're going to fight each other. We don't care. We love the game. We love the sport. There's no bad intentions in it. So that's just how I've always looked at it. And about that signed picture, yeah. So my neighbor at our old house, he's a big fight fan, and he loves Joe Elmore, and he just kept bothering us, like, hey, send me a picture, send me a picture. I'm like, bro, I'm not sending you a picture. You can come get one at my house if you want it. And he just kept bothering me. I just kept forgetting.
Yeah.
So, and then he sent a group message to me and Joe, like, hey, man, can I get a signed picture of you punching Dustin? And I'll get one of Dustin punching you, and you guys can sign it. Ha ha. We're like, shut up, dude. And I messaged Joe. I was like, don't send him anything. But yeah, Shane came by the other day and picked up some signed posters. So yeah, he's a funny dude.
Yeah. Does your wife have a question or a story for me?
Did you think of anything, babe? Anything, like a cool story about us or me, or a question? You pretty much know everything.
I'll ask you one more while she thinks real quick. So I always ask everybody, do you remember the first time you were in a fight, like a street fight, like in grade school, or first time you punched somebody in the face out of anger? Do you remember that?
Yes. Well, I have a lot of street fighting stories for you. Uh, I'll tell you a really exciting one. You want to hear a cool street fighting story?
I would love to.
Okay. Well, there's two, but I don't know how much time we have. But this is a really cool one because of the way it turned out. So we would go to fights all the time. I'd always get calls, like every other weekend. I'd get a call, not to fight. I got along with everyone, but I would always be the guy they want to bring to a fight in case things pop off.
Sure.
And then I'd end up usually fighting for them because I don't like seeing my friends get beat up or even seeing them fight. I'm like, let me do it. So we go to this fight. I roll with the boys. I'm not going to say names, but this one kid was fighting another kid.
Okay.
And my brother was there. And as soon as we get to the spot we used to meet, we knew there was going to be an issue because we get out of the car and there's this guy. He's wearing a tight shirt, pretty jacked. It was like an Army or USMC shirt. So he was in some kind of military program, or he thought he was. Had the crew cut and everything. And he's like, "Ain't nobody jumping in, or I'm gonna f him up." And I look at my brother and I'm like, "This guy, he's gonna be a problem." So my friend and this other guy start fighting, and it's hilarious. They're just windmilling and missing each other and doing spinning back fists. It looked like,
it was awful.
Yeah, it was horrible. And we're just dying. Me and my brother just start giggling and laughing. And of course, Mr. Marine over there saw us giggling. He's like, "What the F are you laughing at? You want to go?" And he pushed my brother. Don't push my brother. I mean, my brother can scrap. He's older than me. He can defend his own, but you do not push my brother in front of me. So he pushed my brother and squares him up. I pull my brother's shoulders back, and I just go after this guy. And I'm throwing combos left and right and everything. They're like missiles. Just they connected on his chin with everything. He falls down. I go to grab his head to knee him because I'm fired up. You push my brother. And my boys like pull me back. They're like, he had enough. So this guy gets up, stumbling, spitting blood. He goes and sits down on the hood of his car.
Okay.
And he's like hunched down and spitting. And he gets up and he starts walking over. I'm like, "Let me go, guys. Round two?" I'm screaming, "Round two?" He's like, no. He's like, "I just want to shake your hand. You're the first civilian to ever beat me." And we all look at each other like, that was real cringy. We hate you for that. But we shook hands and like we all laughed about it. But here's the crazy part. A few months later, I get a text from all my buddies.
Yeah.
And they send like this link. So I click it. The guy that I beat up that night strangled his girlfriend to death. And he got sentenced to like life in prison.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he was a wild man.
Yeah, he sounds like an awful person.
Yeah. So that was a fun street fighting story.
Yeah.
Glad I won that one. He probably would have tried to strangle.
Yeah. All right. Does Jackie have a story?
Come on, babe. You're on the spot. Me and my wife have been together, 17 years?
Yeah, something like that.
And we started dating my second amateur fight.
Oh, wow.
2007 or something.
I guess something fun about us is I don't go to I go to the fights, but I watch the fight.
Yeah, that's a fun fact for you.
Okay.
So she has been to many of my fights, but lately,
No bare knuckle.
yeah, nope, she has not been in the stands of any bare knuckle fight. She's been there. She's been in the hotel room watching it live, but she cannot go and watch it in person.
Well, I also run my mouth, so Dustin.
Yeah, she's spicy, yes, the spicy señorita. So yeah, one wrong word from a fan and she's going off. So I'm like, "Babe, I don't need to worry about you fist fighting somebody in the stands while I'm fighting. So you're gonna stay in the room. You can have your glass of wine. You can watch it live. I'll come right back to the room when I'm done." So that's been our plan.
So that's kind of funny because we interviewed Dave Mundell, and Dave Mundell's wife probably gets as many fights in the stands as he does in the ring. Like,
oh yeah,
same thing. If you say anything bad or you talk shit, like she's going at you.
And you should have heard Joe Almore's wife in his corner at our fight.
I
didn't
did
hear my corner.
Yeah.
All I heard was Joe's wife. Break your hand on his face, Joe. Break your hand on his face. I'm like, God, dude, keep her away from me, Joe. I'm like, we will settle this in here, but do not let her in.
But Maggie was sweet.
Maggie is the sweetest thing
Oh,
ever.
that's
Yeah,
great.
we love her, but I am terrified of her.
It's always the fighter's wives that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, I'll fight any man. I'm not fighting some of these women.
Well, I'm looking forward to this Omaha card. I'm going, and I actually get to corner one of the other fighters, which is going to be cool. I've never done it. He's from South Africa. He trains in Nebraska. In the summer, he works there, and all of his coaches are in South Africa. And I interviewed him. He said, "Hey, do you want to corner me?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like he's got no one, so I said, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it." So like it's gonna be
That's awesome.
Cool experience.
Very cool. So I'll get to see you out there.
Yeah, sounds great. Is there any like shout outs, or do you want to plug any social media sponsors or anything before we go?
Obviously I love all my Bang Barn boys. Disciple MMA, all those guys there. Thank you. I'm going to be posting a lot about our sponsors for this upcoming fight that we didn't lock down yet. So
Okay.
Scott Howard, John Cayley, Jordan Stepanchik, Emery Rank, Sam Yousefi, Stanislav Grosu, I think is how you say his name. But yeah, I have a lot of people that are so supportive. But I'll do something after the fight, before the fight. But thank you. Yeah, just everyone follow me on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, I'll be sure to include those links in the YouTube video.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you fight again.
My pleasure, brother. I'll see you out in Nebraska.
Sounds good.
Later, man.